You know, if you lose a trade in space, it doesn't count because nobody can hear your screams.
Good thing I don't lose.
Frank. We're not lost, are we?
According to the spinning thing in front of me, I have no idea.
What was that?
Sorry, I just got an EDGEFINDER alert on my Discord.
Wow, nice add-on.
I really don't understand why we're looking for this planet.
Frank, it's because someone told us that there's this planet out there where traders can get funded up to $200,000 in simulated trading accounts. And if you pass, you get the chance to get all your money back. It's really kind of a trader's paradise.
Traders have been searching the stars for a place like this, and it's just too good to be true.
Frank, you just gotta believe. Once you get there, they'll give you 15% off any examination with promo code A1Trading15.
Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it.
All right, Frank, take us out of hyperspace.
Coming out of hyperspace. Now, that's FX2.
That's it. That's FX2. The legends are true. It is as good as they say.
Wow, this is incredible. There's a big giant sign that's got a promo code at the front that says A1 Trading 15 for 15% off.
We finally made it to FX2. Get your discounted access to their trading accounts right now. Link and promo code down below in the description and in the chat right now.
Can you repeat all of that once again?
No.
All right, guys, and welcome back to another live stream. Thank you for being here. It is another morning in the markets, taking a look at setups and what is shaping up to be a very busy day. We've got Jerome Powell speaking later. We've got unemployment claims this morning. It should be pretty busy. And of course, as always, we will be here to get you that coverage, to share ideas with you. Today is exciting. We have, again, this afternoon, we'll be streaming for a couple hours ahead of the Jerome Powell situation, the press conference situation that he'll have. Questions are expected. So yesterday's Jerome Powell meeting or conversation was very brief and kind of just a formal welcome. But today we should actually get some substance out of him in terms of monetary policy, which, as traders will detect, that causes the markets to move a lot. So with that said, guys, we're going to do some prep work here. We're going to take a look at some stuff. And just a reminder, if you're somebody out there who is looking to get funded, our partner FX2, they are a sponsor here on the show to make this stuff possible. And we do have that promo code that was mentioned in the video, that hilarious intro that James and Chandler put together with us. So make sure, take advantage of FX2's offers they've got. It's in the chat right now. It's at A1 Trading 15, gets you 15% off. And they are the ones that, again, support our stream and make this stuff possible. So with that said, let's talk some markets here. As we get started, could you guys let me know which charts would you guys like me to take a look at? I have a couple in mind, of course, where we usually start. Well, we usually start with two things. Usually I show you guys trades I'm in, and I show you the dollar index, which is, of course, kind of the core basis to my analysis as we go into each stream and in my trading. So first of all, my trades, I'm still open long on S&P 500, still floating just above $10,000 on this trade, which is a remarkable trade for me and probably for most people. So please know this is not like my everyday, trading results or anything like this. And I have been working with this trade for over a week now. So we've been holding on to this one and we're sitting at resistance, but I think we have a good shot at potentially breaking through the highs here. So we are trading just back to the previous high on the S&P 500. And if we get this breakout, I will look to trail my stop further. You can see this is where my stop loss is. I am in the best possible scenario as a trader is a win-win situation where you don't have any risk on the table anymore. And you'll make money either ways. It's just a matter of how much money does the market want to give me, if that makes sense, right? Because if this market continues to push higher, guys, let's say we break through the highs, right? And we get a good push going, I'll have the opportunity then to trail that stop further into profit and lock something in further. And again, we can rinse and repeat until the market ultimately takes me out of my stop. I like to make the joke when it comes to my personal trading, I stop out 100% of the time with my trades. Just sometimes it's for profit and sometimes it's for loss. But it is a weird kind of reality of the way I trade, right? I hit my stop loss. That's how I get out of both profitable and unprofitable positions. Okay, so you guys had some requests, a lot of Euro USD traders in the audience today. So let's do this. I'll start with the dollar index and I'll make my way over to the euro for you guys. If you guys could do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button on the stream as we kick off today. Again, it is an exciting day in the markets. We have Jerome Powell speaking later. We will be streaming that event. So I just want to let you know, if you're tuning in for the very first time or you've been here for a while, the stream schedules can kind of jump around depending on what's going on. The greatest way to be here when we stream live is to click the notification bell next to the subscriber button. So definitely take a look at that. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you can get here when we get started. Okay, so the dollar index, where are we at? All right, so here's the daily chart. As I've been saying, the dollar index was in a range here, right? We were choppy, back and forth, couldn't seem to find our breakout. And then we got it. And as we've made this point many times, NFP was our catalyst. We saw NFP give us cooling jobs numbers, which took away, in my opinion, some of that, well, not even just my opinion, the market took it as that super hawkish edge that the dollar had that was driving it higher for so long, right? Yield skyrocketing and, the 10-year making its way to 5%. I mean, those things were very, very dollar bullish. But cooling jobs numbers and a slowing economy, that's going to take away some of that dollar strength. And I'm now thinking that as we round off here and we come back into this breakout zone, we very well could see sellers take control here and push this market lower. That's been my thesis this week. So far, it hasn't really done anything. It's just been sitting here. But it asks the question, what do you do with that with Jerome Powell speaking later? Well, my idea with the dollar is this. I think this level holds. And again, I'm saying I think. I don't know. Nobody knows. Nobody's certain, right? When I'm wrong on YouTube, as you can probably imagine, the comment section of any social media can get pretty gnarly. But when I'm wrong, I get attacked for it. But at the end of the day, I've been doing this for a long time on YouTube. I'm comfortable in my own skin, in my own trading, and so I'm not afraid to tell you guys what I'm thinking. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And please don't copy me. I'm not here to be your ATM machine by any means. I'm here to share my thoughts. I'm a trader, right? So traders are not all trading success. New traders think trading success is being like a wizard and a crystal ball sorcerer. Real traders know it's just probabilities. You're just weighing the odds. You're just managing risk, and you might get it wrong sometimes. You might get it right sometimes. And it's all about minimizing losses, maximizing wins. At the end of the day, it's all like it's like running a business, right? Our business has expenses and it has revenues, and you've got to kind of balance the two. Anyways, the 38.2% retracement is still intact, and I'm liking the way price is reacting to this area. So I think as we retest this zone, we should see a reaction. And if we do see that reaction, the idea would be a push down to 104.6. And what about if that doesn't work out? I think I probably bail on this idea of a short-term dollar bearishness, or even perhaps a bigger term dollar bearishness. I bail on this idea if price gets right back up above that 61.8. If we completely fail to hold any resistance here, I've got to admit where I'm wrong, right? So that's my thesis. So how do you take that? Well, maybe for my euro dollar traders out there, maybe we see bullishness continue like we talked about on yesterday's stream, right? If you're here with me live Monday through Friday, we call out ideas all the time. Now, just because I call out an idea does not mean it's going to be a 100% win rate or anything like that. Like I said, I'm just trying to get out in front of it. Please do not take me as some sort of indicator holy grail, because I do get it wrong sometimes. Lately, I've been having some really good trades. I'm still in that S&P runner. But prior to that, I had a losing streak. So it's all context, and it's really important to be transparent on YouTube. So I try and keep it real with you guys. Anyways, the euro pulled back yesterday. We talked about this as a possible entry. This is not a trade that I actually have on. I would love to say that I do, but I do not. I liked the idea. I set it all up and I didn't take a trade. So if you did catch it, then congrats. You know, we talked about this yesterday, but unfortunately, I did not catch this myself. And trust me, you know, even after, you know, the years and years that I've done this now, you still kick yourself when you miss a trade like this. But it's okay. We move on. I had a couple things that weren't quite right for me to take the trade, and so I didn't take it. But for those that did, a nice start here to the euro. I think path of least resistance is a continued push back to the previous high. But here's the thing. I think if you're a euro bull, this is, again, as always, this is my opinion. The euro bull idea shouldn't just be, this is what I see so many new traders do. They say, okay, I've got a trade here. I'm going to put my take profit right there like everyone else. But remember, guys, a trend has what? Higher highs, higher lows. If you really think the euro is going to trend, this is what I like to point out, and I hope this resonates with somebody. Why take profits here? This is why I trail stops. You don't know how much further that trend expansion wants to look like. If you're right about the euro bullishness and you get out here, but then it really was right and it goes up here, that's the worst, right? Because that was your moneymaker. Many traders, if they were to let their winners become bigger, would be profitable. It's something like, it's got to be as simple as that. Because so many traders, what they do is they already took profits. They're scared that it's going to go back, right? They took profits over here. They might have gotten long over here and they're working with it. But very few people have the diligence and the patience to let a trade become a monster winner. You know what's really crazy, guys, and we're getting close here to the news, so let me not miss that. We got unemployment claims coming out in about a minute. We'll prep for that while I say this. Many traders, they let a winner become, they really struggle to let a winner become big, but they have no problem letting a letting a loser become a big problem. Does anybody, if you agree with that, if that makes sense to you, can you guys just type same or yes or yeah, like just hype me up for half a second? If you relate to that, let me know. Because I know for me, for years, I struggled with that concept. The idea of like, you know, sorry, let me not miss the news here, guys. We got 30 seconds to go. I'm just prepping my charts. If you relate to that, okay, cool. Lots of people in the audience. Appreciate you guys. We've got gold in the bottom left, guys. Gold traders, we got gold over here. S&P traders, my people, we're over here, bottom right. Dollar people, watch the dollar in the top right, and euro dollar traders, as we just discussed. This is the 4-hour, but let's just drop a 15-minute chart here so we can just get a closer reaction to price. We're coming in right now. Let's see what we got. All right, and claims should be coming in here now. We've got, let's see, no movement just yet. All right, euro dollar, just a slight bit. And please remember, guys, claims, unemployment claims, what are they? They're people filing for unemployment, and that number can move markets, but it's not as binary explosive as like an NFP or a CPI number. So we may get a move here, but it doesn't look like we're getting anything too market moving at this time. See, look, there you go. So let me help everybody, even if you are not a fundamental trader in this audience right now, even if you're like, Nick, I don't really care for what you say about fundamentals and I only look at technicals. Okay, cool. You're missing out. It's a great party over here on the fundamental side. But let me just say, even if you are not, what you got to understand is if something comes out pretty much as expected, that's not exciting. It's like if, you know, you turned on the news and they're talking about like a local, you know, pizza joint just released a new bacon pizza. Well, actually, that might be kind of exciting. Come on. But you know what I mean? Like something that's not really actually super exciting is not going to get everybody turning on their TVs. Same thing with traders. Traders we're people, right? We're emotional creatures. So when something is exciting and not as expected, that's what moves the charts big. And when something is pretty much as expected, like what we just got with claims, it doesn't move the whole market like perhaps a CPI or an NFP or Jerome Powell saying something different than usual. Those things cause explosive sudden moves in the market. However, there are 480 of you guys here. I just want to remind you, hit that thumbs up button. But I want to tell you something really important. Don't just click off the video, because what a lot of people do is they're going to leave as soon as a news event happens. It happens every time we do streams, and it frustrates me because you guys have to understand, most trading opportunities happen after news, because trading before news spikes is like gambling, because again, the spreads widen tremendously. And even if you're right about direction, you can get spread destroyed by a spread from a broker. And all brokers do that. They widen their spreads. As if you owned a brokerage, you would do that too. It's only, it's risk management to protect yourself across. Imagine if you had 10,000 traders on your platform, and they all bought euro dollar and they got perfect interest, and the euro just spiked massively to the upside, and all of them wanted withdrawals, right? It sounds kind of sinister that they wouldn't give you that perfect spread right before news, but there is a lot of losses on their end if they were to do that. So brokers are businesses too, just like it's weird to think about, but brokers are not the bad guy. People like to make brokers the bad guy, oftentimes as like an excuse for their poor trading decisions. But anyways, that is another topic. That is a can of worms, Nick. Keep that can on the shelf closed. We're not talking about that today. But I will say, guys, just a shout out to 8cap. 8cap is our sponsor here on the show. If you're outside of the US and you're looking for a brokerage, I highly recommend 8cap. There's a link down below in the description for them. The reason I highly recommend them, they are regulated. They just got FCA regulation in the UK. So they're on another level. They are super, super professional. There's a reason all the prop firms out there, they have the white labeling stuff with 8cap. If you've heard about that, 8cap is the best in the business, in my opinion. There's not a brokerage that I've come across that is top in the scale as much as 8cap. And if you would like access to that, we have some cool perks, some sign up links down below in the description, as well as we'll play a quick break here in just a second. Check out 8cap. Again, we have some really cool perks. They've sponsored the show. You guys can get free stuff with them with our link. And you can also get, I think there's like deposit bonuses and all sorts of stuff. So find out some more information about that. We're going to play this really quick and we'll come right back. And I'm going to show you guys some setups that I'm watching here post news. Check it out. Frank, are you really trading right now? We are literally traveling through space.
Yeah, I mean, thanks to 8cap, I can trade at any time and anywhere, even in space. And I get a free EDGEFINDER with it too.
That's pretty cool, but honestly, there are so many other brokers that I think are better.
That's it.
I'm ejecting you.
All right, Frank, let me back in. Come on. I'll sign up for 8cap, I promise.
Don't get lost in space. Trade with 8cap. If you'd like more information about how you can get a free EDGEFINDER, click the link that's in the chat or description to speak with one of our representatives and sign up with 8cap. There's some great free perks available. Check it out down below.
Frank!
Right, I hope you guys like that. Again, sponsored by 8cap. We are very proud to be, and they make this show possible. So check them out. Again, link in the description and in the chat if you'd like to speak with someone on our team about it. But yeah, it's very, very, very proud to be sponsored by them. Anyways, let's take a look at some more stuff here. I'm still in the S&P. Didn't move too much, to be completely honest. Still floating 10,600 on this trade and trying to let this one run. It's getting to a point, I got to admit, where I'm like, okay, let's get a decision, right? And I think we might get that later. So there's 470 of you guys. Let me reiterate the importance of sticking around right now. We have a big event later today with Jerome Powell speaking. What many traders will do is they'll shut off their YouTube and they'll treat this like a sports game. They'll show up and they'll place their bets when the sports game has started, right? When it comes to trading, you don't want to be making decisions on the fly. Let's do some analysis together right now. Stick around with me. Get your drink, get your coffee, whatever your choice is, whatever your fancy is, as my Brit friends would say. If you would like to stick around with me for a few minutes, we'll talk about some setups now, prepping for what is happening later. So big red folder later, guys. We have Jerome Powell speaking, and we will be live with a collection of wonderful guests who will help me to co-host that show. We'll be live for a couple hours later on today. So let's get into it. Okay, I want to talk gold because we haven't gotten to it yet. Gold traders out there, let's talk about it. Can we get some, let's get the gold train started. You guys know this game. Let's get the gold train started. If you are, type gold train in the audience. Chandler, can you get that started for us with there it is, gold train in the chat. Hit us up with a gold train if you're a gold trader. It's always cool to see. The gold people are the loudest. I don't know what's wrong with you guys. Actually, you know what? There's one group that might be crazier than the gold traders, and it's the Dow traders, the US 30 traders. You guys are insane. There's the gold train. Choo choo. All right, let's do it. Gold train. What's up, guys? Okay, so here's my thoughts on gold. First of all, I want to show you what big money's up to. We look at this every day, and there's a good reason why we do this. It's because at the end of the day, guys, we look at fundamentals here, we look at technicals here, but at the end of the day, what really moves the market? The true drivers in the market is buys and sells. And who does the biggest buys and sells? You're looking at them. The smart money, the big money. These guys, what we're looking at, guys, is the COT positions. Now, COT data, this is basically a way to look at what the major players are buying and selling. So when we take a look at this and we want to isolate, for example, gold, or we want to look at oil, we've built this UI to make it so that you as a trader can very quickly understand and recognize what the latest big money moves in the markets are doing. Are institutional traders buying gold or selling gold? So let's hone in on this for a second, guys. The latest in terms of net positioning on gold. By the way, I know not everybody is a gold trader, but you guys got to get on the gold train. I'm just kidding. Trade what's right for you. But you get my point. If you're on the gold train, then, out here. But gold, 73% long in terms of net positioning. So big money seems pretty dang long on gold. But you might be saying, but gold's going down, Nick. But you got to think like an institutional trader. You got to think like a pro. A pro oftentimes has millions and billions of dollars to move in and out of the market. They're not trading on small accounts, right? Again, they move the markets. So if the big market movers, they're buying gold, they might have to do it over some time. So we as retail traders, we have something really cool that I want to show you guys. We have the ability to get in and get out of the market a lot easier than an institutional trader. If an institutional trader has to move $1 trillion and they want to move $1 trillion into gold, they've got to do it in parts and in pieces and over time. You and I, though, we can spot it and we can trade it. That's the whole point of the EDGEFINDER. It helps us find opportunities in the market, which the EDGEFINDER is our market scanning software. And if you hear a sales pitch coming, it is. So stick around. I'm trying to stay transparent. We build some really cool tools here at A1 Trading. We're a software company out of Atlanta, Georgia, and we build tools for traders. But let me show you the use case of this, and maybe I'll earn your attention on that side. Okay, so gold has a current 73% long to short position ratio. Cool, that's nice, that's good information, but it's really slow. This first half of the COT data is really slow because this changes very gradually, very slowly over months and months and months, okay? It takes a long time for them to change bullish to bearish on things. However, we scroll down here, my friends, and now this is where things get interesting. This is the latest smart money trades, the latest buys and sells from institutional money. Now, what I want to focus on with you guys here is take a look. We have the assets on the left, and on the very far right, we have the latest change. Now, again, a big institution might be holding on to money in gold, but they might be adding or subtracting from their position. This chart gives us that information live, okay? So institutional money, let's look at gold. So let's isolate gold for a second and take a closer look at it. So if we take a look at gold here, boom, gold, latest change, 1.66% increase. Bullish. But gold is going down. Again, guys, you have to be aware that just because institutional money is perhaps building a long position, let's be strategic about this. We don't have to buy just because we see that. We wait, right, for an opportunity to do so. If this is making sense for you really quick, can you guys just do me a favor? If this breakdown has been helpful to you, type yes in the chat. Let me know. Okay. The website is down at the moment. What's going on? Hold on. What? A1 Trading. What? A1 Trading is down. Whoa. That's scary. Hold on. Hold on, guys. Check it out. Okay, we still have our live chat. Let's do this. thank you guys for the feedback on that. We'll get the website up. There's got to be just something I can fix. I will get to that. In the meantime, if you would like to chat with us, we can still hook you up with access to the software. If you're somebody who's been thinking about, we have a Black Friday sale going on right now. So let me go ahead and say this. If you like the EDGEFINDER, if you have been watching for a chance to do so, this is the best time of the entire year to pick up a copy of the EDGEFINDER. Here's something for you. Julie says she's working on the site. Okay, Julie's going to save us. If you want access to the EDGEFINDER and you're one of our viewers here, there's 500 of you. Let me just be very, very clear with you. This is the best price of the entire year. We're doing 45% off on the EDGEFINDER. This is our market scanning software. We build data tools to help traders level up. We have taken so many traders and turned them into much better traders by giving them insights, data, tools to empower them to find better opportunities. At the end of the day, like I said, who's the most important money to follow? The big money. So we have the COT data in a really easy format with our calculations done on it to make it really easy to spot opportunities based on this. If you would like access for 45% off for our Black Friday sale, you can see we got our black theme going on. Message us right now. We got the link here in the chat. It's in the chat. So open up the chat, click this link. Even if you're just curious, even if you just want to discuss the options that we do have pricing options. We have all sorts of stuff. So if you're interested, take advantage. I wish it was for free. Me too. But to be completely honest with you, the investment side of building tools like this is ridiculously expensive. So the tools are not free. We're in business because they're not free. These streams exist because they're not free. So if you support the streams, if you support the business, and you are looking for powerful market data to join all the other traders who have gotten access to this, please take advantage. If you'd like to see testimonials, if you'd like to see examples of how this has leveled up traders. If people have gotten funded with the help of this stuff, they've gotten access to tremendous improvement in their trading just by consulting data in an easy way. So if you'd like access, click the link in the chat right now. Drop it one more time. Take advantage of that 45% off. When you click it, just click Black Friday sale, 45% off. You can join our signals group or get access to the EDGEFINDER, which gets you that COT data, 45% off. So there is my sales pitch, and I'm always transparent about sales pitches when they come. I'm not trying to make it discreet. We're a software company. My background is in software. When it came to trading, I combined the two. I love trading. I love building tools. This is after my years of experience and Frank and I's design on this tool, this is what we've built, and take advantage. Anyways, let's keep going. I want to talk about setup. So with the gold concept that we were going with, the idea is institutional money is still pretty bullish, but we're seeing price sell off. So what do you do? What do you do with that? Well, first of all, let me say one more thing. Here's the plug. Jamie, you are the man. Thank you very much for this. Testimonials in the chat. I appreciate you. About to pass a challenge with FX2 thanks to the EDGEFINDER in this channel. Jamie, that is amazing to see. We love to see that. So Jamie, you're the man. We were talking about you the other day. We just said, we really appreciate the people who use our tools and appreciate what they bring to the table, and them returning the love to us as a team. You have no idea. Like from a person to person, we really appreciate it. We work really hard on that stuff, so it feels really nice to see people having success with it. And yeah, appreciate you. Anyways, the gold market. The last thing I want to say: price pulling back. I'm still bullish on gold, but I can't justify getting long just because COT is bullish. I've still got to find the setup. But this is the confirmation that traders need to look for, in my opinion. You've got to have COT as something in your favor, but then combine it with price action, right? Combine it with a strategy that makes sense. So many traders might be missing that one thing that gets them over the hurdle of like, okay, I haven't even been looking at what big money is doing. Let me get my hands on that. And then they have access to that insight, and that could make the change from unprofitable to profitable. So again, I think gold might have short-term topped, but longer term, I'm still bullish now. And I know some of the people out there will remember that I was bearish on gold over here. So let me be fair. Things have really changed, and it's okay to adapt and change your bias. COT went long really quick on this. Big money has started to really build a position, and I think it's set to potentially go back and retest the highs. So we'll see. If the Fed does continue to look like it's done hiking and all that sort of stuff, gold traders, we could be headed higher. So watch for price action signals. We will likely be talking a lot of gold later on during the show. But in the meantime, we're going to bring in Miko and Marco to talk more about technical setups that are happening right now. So we'll play a quick break and we'll go to Miko and Marco for Technical Thursdays. You guys know we get into some technical charts. We've done a little bit of COT analysis. Let's move on and take a look at some other stuff. Hey, Ivan, I see you in the chat. When do you guys stream nowadays? Ivan, we stream all the time. We stream for all the major events, but I know it can be a little rotating. We don't have a set schedule because we try and be at the desk when the news events are happening. And now with daylight savings times, it just threw another confusion to the mix. So daylight savings times, I know, can be a little confusing for everyone, but you can pretty much rest assured we'll be here for major US news. That's where we really time our streams. Anyways, coming with you in just a second, we've got Miko and Marco coming on the show for Technical Thursdays. Stick around with us. We'll be right back with them in just a second.
When your trade goes to the moon with 8-cap, this is what it feels like.
3, 2, 1.
And there you go. There's your short little hello from 8-cap launching into space. We're back with Miko and Marco. How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the show.
What is up?
Oh, Marco, I think you're muted.
Oh yeah, sorry. What's up?
All good. All good. Hey, so today, guys, we have a pretty big day. This morning, claims didn't really move the markets too much, so we didn't get any super big excitement. However, later on, Jerome Powell is set to speak, and everyone will probably remember that the dollar got really kicking when he spoke last week. In fact, maybe it's just this specific chart, but I've got a gap on my dollar index chart. And you guys got to think, I mean, this is one of the most traded assets, has a ton of liquidity. So for a gap to occur, something wild must have been said or happened. So we might get a little bit more of that today. So to help prepare for that, of course, I'm glad you guys are here so we can go into some technical setups. We'll go to Marco first, and we can kind of go through anything that you're seeing. Traders in the audience, this will probably be a little bit forex focused. So if you're a forex trader, stick around with us. These guys both are pretty forex related, and I might try and squeeze in some indices and gold for you as well. So Marco, what do you got?
Sure. So starting with the euro US dollar, I did take a trade right here, somewhere around this level. And it was a loss, unfortunately, but what I was seeing basically is a descending structure after which I expect a reversal up. And I was seeing the confirmation with these 3 blue candles, so I was happy to look for buys and got in on one right here. Right now, since I'm stopped out, I'm waiting for the break of this major high and this major low. And I'm just looking for a large impulse up or large impulse down. So you do say some dollar news are in play, correct?
Yes. So yeah, we have pretty big news on the horizon with Jerome Powell speaking later on. So yes, definitely USD pairs could be set to move big.
Yeah, I try to keep away from all of the news, to be honest, just to not get too confused. But maybe that's exactly what I'm waiting for. So I'm just waiting for momentum up or momentum down, which can happen because of major news. EJ, Euro, Japanese yen, kind of flat here on the top, but might still continue in this general direction up. So let's see if that happens. Then I'll look to buy right here on the top of this leg. Aussie US dollar is overall descending, not very clean price action, so not the cleanest formations, but I would look for buys if we get something like this. Again, dollar news, so we may get a large push up, and then I'll look to get in on a buy setup, but I would need the confirmation as well. So if the news prints with one huge candle, I would like to see the next candle continue up as well, because this first candle can just be a fake out, and then we can get a complete reversal and a wide flat range. So always after huge news candles, I need the confirmation as well. Aussie Japanese yen, flat. So looking for a large impulse up or large impulse down, not on my watch list. Then we have the pound, which is, to me, a bit flat here as well. So let's see what happens after the news. Large push up or a large push down is what I'm looking for. Final one for me is the New Zealand Japanese yen. This one is flat in this area as well, to be honest. So I'm not seeing much on the Japanese pairs. To recap, EU, not on my watch list. EJ, yes, I'm looking at it, possibly to continue up. AU, yes, looking for a push up like this. AJ, nothing. Pound, nothing. And NJ, I'm being more patient as well. So let's see what happens. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for doing that, Marco. And I have to your point about, of course, pointing out we've got news later on, which will be set to move the dollar pretty good. I want to go to Miko with the same question, I guess, prepping for today. I guess where you guys will be a huge help to the audience as we get set up for today is, I was trying to make this point just before you guys came on. Everybody kind of pops in for the big events, but then they generally tend to leave when it's actually time to set up a game plan. It's kind of like if you were to only show up for the football game or the sports event without going to any practices, right? Like we got to get some practice in here. So I want to ask Miko, in terms of USD pairs. So I've shifted. I've kind of joined the enemy, and I'm now kind of more on the dollar bearish camp. Are you bullish on the dollar? What do you think?
I'm quite neutral at the moment, to be honest. I'm kind of looking at seeing what's happening with the DXY. I was coming to the week pretty bearish on dollar, of course, after the humongous move to the downside, and we took out some important lows here. So after that's happened, I'll be looking for price to continue down. And I was originally looking for price to come back, retest some of these lows here on the daily chart, and then just continue down. But we've kind of broken above it a little bit. But all I'm seeing on the daily chart so far is just a bunch of wicks higher. So if we can maintain this, especially with today's candle still got 10 hours left before it does close. If we can throw another wick into this level here, I think from that perspective, I have to be favoring dollar weakness going forward, because we've seen an incredible breakout. It looked like a few times that price was going to break above this level this week. We had a few attempts above the level, but nothing confirmed. And with today's daily candle closing as such, of course, we still got a long way to go. But if you close similar to this with those 3 wicks to the upside, I'll be favoring dollar to continue south. At that point, I'll be looking to switch my bias to completely bearish from neutral, and looking to anticipate more upside for pairs like Euro, Pound, and Aussie. So yeah, I think I'll be favoring dollar sells, but I will wait to see how this daily candle does close, and of course the 4H candle as well. Seeing a lot of momentum at the moment. That could be interesting if we do take out this low here. I think the floodgates will probably open to the downside. So yeah, taking that into other dollar pairs, Euro USD bouncing off this level here. Not really clean. I do like Aussie though. Aussie's not too bad. Coming back to retest this high here. If I am going to trade any dollar pair, probably will be Aussie dollar for a move up higher. But I'm not too sure how far these trades will go. But I do like Aussie dollar coming to this area. Got some nice trendline confluence as well. 1, 2, 3. Breaking me test off that high. Not a bad plays to long. So I do favor dollar weakness if you do see a strong candle closure there on the daily chart. But at the moment, I'm kind of just waiting to confirm my bias, I would say.
Also, I have an added confluence for Aussie US dollar to go up.
Yeah, what do you got?
Look, I'll do a market buy right now.
Yeah,
I wanna also, so thanks for doing that, Miko, in terms of like the dollar. It's a topic that I think everybody in the audience is really interested in. And I actually want to ask the audience to help us out with something really quick, because Miko, Marco, we've got our ideas. Let's get a little bit of a crowdsourcing thing here. In the Telegram right now, I just dropped a poll for us. I just asked USD, what do you guys think we're discussing on stream? Bullish or bearish? And it sounds like, of course, Miko, you're kind of neutral. I like to, you guys know, I like to make it dramatic and spice things up and not let people be neutral, because that, you know, it makes it exciting. But I totally understand, like, there's such thing as being neutral on a market. But I didn't even leave that option, because, you know, I don't know if you guys ever notice this, but polls sometimes they make like an easy answer, and that always like bothers me, because it'll be like, what do you think? This? Oh, I don't really have an opinion. It's like everybody just clicks that. Anyways, if you guys aren't in the Telegram, come join us. Everybody in the chat here, cast your vote. We're doing a vote right now. They're in Telegram. The link is in the chat. But let us know what you guys think, bullish or bearish. Maybe we'll give this some time. But again, if you guys want to participate in that, I am on the dollar bearish camp, but don't let that be decisive for you. Please vote candidly. I'm very curious to see what you guys as an audience say in just a few minutes. But the link to the Telegram where you can vote on that is in the description. And stick around in there. We got trading ideas and setups being shared each day. So take advantage of that. Anyways, I mentioned I got to creep in on my S&P positioning. Part of my game plan here today is we've got the panel and discussion questions from Powell later on today. It's definitely going to be market moving for both the dollar and for pretty much everything, indices, gold, etc. I'm still bullish. The S&P, I think we have potential to break out of this area. That's what I'll be looking for. And if it doesn't, my goal is to trail out with a trailing stop. But I know we've already talked about the S&P before you guys joined, but a market that we haven't really gotten to, and it's Marco's favorite, not actually, but I always force him to look at it. Gold. What do you guys think? So Marco, I'll come to you first. Let's do it.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Gold.
Also, before you go on this, Marco, one thing to think about too, from a fundamental perspective, gold and the Australian dollar have some similarities. One of the things, of course, each one moves differently, and you've obviously done your back testing to find the right things for you. But one thing to consider from a high level fundamental standpoint, just like when we talk about the Canadian dollar and its relationship to like oil prices because of their exports of oil, the Australian dollar has some connection to gold and to the Chinese economy, just by the very nature of what Australia is. They're out in the Pacific there. They're a commodity heavy economy, and they also do a lot of trade with China. So little quick fact for you. And oftentimes you'll notice that the Australian dollar and gold, not always, but often enough to mention, they have some correlation in their price movements. So anyways, continue. I just want to throw that in there.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I do find that the price action is a bit different. So nowadays, the last two streams, it was very clean, I have to say, on gold. What I'm seeing right now is something I really like, which is these tight moves that don't really have much volatility, but instead they pick a direction and then they move with the direction. So that is what I like to see. And that is kind of how the Aussie US dollar moves most of the time when it's trending. So right here, I'm seeing a bit of weakness starting to come up with these large blue candles. And here, the current one that is printing as well. Also, the lows are being broken very correctively. So I wouldn't be surprised if this descending channel actually gives us a temporary reversal, or maybe a complete reversal, something like this. That is what I usually see with these sort of patterns in the price action. So I like it. It's clean. When I see clean price action, I'm definitely interested to look for a trade. It's not just about the patterns. It's about the candle formations as well. And these ones look clean. So how it used to be is this is how I remember gold. It always looks like this. Huge wicks all over the place, volatility, huge candles. That is what I do not like to see. But the most recent price action is very nice, I have to say.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of a move lower here recently that's started to move nicer. I definitely agree. There was like a week period after all the geopolitical stuff. Obviously, it hasn't calmed down, but it not so headline news. It really led to just a choppy consolidation phase. So now we're starting to see a little bit of volatility there. What do you think, Miko, in terms of gold? Obviously, one thing that's really weird to me is that gold and the dollar are moving almost like together right now, which is weird. They're both trading lower overall last few days. But what do you think? You have any opinions on gold?
I was looking at gold a lot coming into the week. We broke through a big level 1980 that I was talking about last week, but I wasn't expecting gold to break back underneath, but we did see that pretty early on this week and a pretty hefty move as well. So since we did clear that level, we have come back into another big one here around 1950, 1940. So I'm waiting to see how price reacts with this high. We've had a pretty steep move, so naturally a correction would probably be needed for gold since we have broken back underneath 1980. So this could be a place where buyers would be looking to see if they can take gold back to the upside again. I would say it's a little bit early to say if we are going to push to the upside. The price action is just a little bit corrective. I've seen some nice momentum come back into it, but I want to see price start giving me some higher highs and higher lows before I favor upside. But on the other hand, it's a very nice place to expect to see gold rise. But I will keep an eye out for 1980 again, because we could come straight back down as well. So with gold as well, I would say I'm short-term bullish because of where we're coming in. But from a longer-term scale, I want to see price break through 1980 before I cement a longer-term bullish bias on gold.
Okay, fair enough. And Miko, I want to point out we gotta stay true to our concept about gold. I think you and I were both like bearish, and I got like absolutely devastated in my comment section. Like it was a wasteland. It was like people were like, "Nick, you were bearish on gold. What happened?" Talk about that for a second, because again, I don't shy away from it when I'm wrong about an idea. Like at the end of the day, I'm not here to trade your account. I'm doing my thing, but there's also something to be said, and I'm sure you have like an opinion on this too. There's something to be said about like just being like, yeah, look, I was wrong. Let's move on. Let's find the next setup. You know, there's something about being constructive rather than just pointing figures and getting angry. But what do you think about that? And I guess, Marco, you can chime in on this too, but I'll go to Miko first, just because I know him and I had both kind of agreed on like a bearish idea. But I'll come to you in a second. Miko, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's when you're looking to trade, analyze the market, you're taking in information and you're creating an idea, a judgment based on that. But you will never be 100% correct because you don't take in all the information there is about the market. There's so many different aspects, people buying, selling. You know, you could have a bias and someone could place a trade and suddenly the market goes in the opposite direction. So unless you have 100% of the data that goes into the market, then you can be possibly 100% correct. But if you don't, then there always will be times where you're wrong, no matter how good you are at analyzing the market. So once you understand that concept, then all you need to understand is, okay, can I find a consistency in analyzing the market in a certain way, whatever you look at, and just keep tackling it that same way. You'd be wrong sometimes, right sometimes, manage your risk, and yeah, keep playing the numbers. That's how I look at it anyway.
Yeah, no, that I would say that's very well put. At the end of the day, even if you did have 100% of the information, there's another level to that. This is why markets are so hard, guys. Even if you had 100%, which is impossible, there's a trillion variables that go into the price of gold. Like it's beyond what you would, possibly be able to humanly or even with software be perfectly correct with all the data. But even if you did, not only that, the data's constantly changing. So you also have every one of those variables changing millisecond to millisecond. So the point is, don't let that stress you out. You don't have to be perfect in the markets. That's the relief, is like, you don't need to be perfect in order to be profitable. You just need to know how to manage risk. Anyways, if we show my screen here for a second, I just want to follow up before we go to Marco, because I do want to ask that same, if you had any else to think about that. Here's the update on the poll we did, guys. 193 votes, which there's 400 of you guys watching, so get your votes in there. But anyways, 42% said bullish, 58% said bearish. It's a pretty mixed room. Sometimes I'll throw up these polls and we'll get like something like 75-25 or like 85-15. So a little bit mixed and probably a fair positioning, especially ahead of big news later on today. So with that said, I want to give Marco a chance to respond to that concept as well. Marco, how do you deal with social media? But honestly, I like to relate this to everyone. Even if you don't have a social media presence, the internal voices, right, of like, I was calling for this and it didn't happen. How do you deal with like the internal voices or the external ones? If somebody was like, Marco, you're an idiot, like what, how do you deal with that? Like what's the solution?
So it's all about focusing on your data, and it's all about knowing your probabilities. So when I'm in a buy, there's always going to be someone who is in a sell at the same time. So the conflict will always be there. But as long as you have probabilities and you have a tested strategy in at least, let's say, a 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 5 year, maybe even a 10-year period, and when you see, for example, a descending channel like this, and that 70% of the time this actually reverses to the upside, well, then you don't have to really be correct every single time. 70% of the time you'll have a winner, 30% of the time you'll have a loss. So it's all about sticking to your data, your backtesting data, and not getting the people, so not really getting offended by other people's opinion, right? Or
That's
letting
so
that
true.
get to you. So yeah, focusing on your data, that's the only thing that works.
And also, last thing I will say, I mentioned like the internal voice thing. Obviously, it hurts. It's hard. We're humans. When somebody else like is challenging you or making you feel dumb, that's one side
Yep.
of it.
Mhm.
But you also can do that to yourself. Like as a trader, it's so easy to be like, oh, I shoulda, coulda, woulda. I've said for a long time, like those words got to get out of your dictionary if you're a trader. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. Those are the stupidest things to include in your conversation with yourself, because all you're ever going to do is be like, I should have sold here. I could have done this. You know, I would have done this if I had heard about that. That's just loser talk, right? You got to be forward thinking and constructive and optimistic when you're trading, even though it's hard. So anyways, none of this stuff is easy. We try and keep it real every time we're on the show. And with me to help me is, of course, the guests that we bring onto the show. So Miko, Marco, I want to thank both of you guys for coming on. And I also want to let everyone know who is watching that Miko and Marco both have their own YouTube channels, their own Telegram channels. If something they said resonated with you, if you liked Miko's style, if you liked Marco's style, make sure to go support them by following on their socials, finding their Telegrams, whatever, and sticking around with them. So again, we bring traders together. That's the purpose of the show. And I want to thank both of you guys for coming on and helping out.
One more thing.
Marco, do you have something?
So what helps me with people that hate in the comments, I just like their comment, and that kind of pisses them off. That usually works.
That's 200 IQ right there, Marco. That's a strategy. All right, Miko, Marco, thank you guys for coming on. We'll see you later on.
See you. Goodbye.
Adios. Bye.
Yep. Always good to have those guys on. Again, very, very knowledgeable, very experienced people in the markets. And as always, our goal here is to bring traders together and to keep it real for you guys. We're trying to make, even if this is not the most popular channel, the most popular stream, maybe we don't get the most. What I would value the most for you guys as an audience is to give you guys the most real trading content you can possibly find in the internet. That's my objective. My objective is not to make it the most famous, to make it the most, intense, but rather to be the most informative, the most helpful, and honestly, to give you guys insights every day. We went through the COT data earlier. Remember, we talked about gold. We talked, if you were here with us, of course. By the way, I'll come back to this. I just want to point out, if you're somebody who trades currencies, let's get a currency scan really quick. I'm just going to go and we'll just remove some of these. Let's get rid of pretty much everything except the currencies for a second. For those of you guys who are currency traders specifically, for the currency friends in the audience, here is your FX scan. By the way, you can always do this yourself. If you have access to the data, you can just select what you'd like to look at. But in terms of institutional positioning, big money seems to be most long US dollar. I included gold in there. I snuck it in there. That's not really forex. It's really like futures, but you get the point. You can trade it on forex brokers or stock brokers or whatever. You can trade GLD or XAU USD. It's all the same thing. Anyways, euro, and then you got pound. And by the way, we're going in descending here by most bullish. Now look at this, guys. You got a lot of bearishness on the yen, the Australian dollar, the Canadian dollar, the Swiss franc, and the Kiwi. This is just the net positioning, though. We always have to remember this piece of the data is important, but it's not the full picture. Because what you don't get from this chart, guys, if you're a COT connoisseur, if you pay attention to smart money, if you're tracking the big guys, this doesn't show you the change. Is this number rising or falling? So where do you get that information? We built it for you right here. This is the latest smart money trades, buys and sells. Okay, so the latest bullish moves, though, Australian dollar. Interesting. So perhaps this is rising on the list of bullish assets. So again, you have to think about, it's not just their overall positioning, it's what are they buying lately. So lately, the Australian dollar is getting a little bit of bullish interest from institutional money. The Japanese yen is as well, and so is gold. And then on the flip side, the Swiss franc, the pound, and the US dollar are getting a little less love. In fact, the Swiss franc got a big sell. Minus 1% is pretty significant in terms of just a week-to-week change in positioning. right? So again, this data is available if you are not already using the Edge Finder. Do you want access to the smart money tracker? If you want access to our top setups algorithm, which helps to find setups each and every day. Look at this, by the way, oil coming in. That's a new signal. US oil coming in on the list of possible setups. I'll have to go take a look at that one. But I will say again, if you would like access to the Edge Finder, its scoring algorithm that you can see on this page, the smart money tracker, retail sentiment data, this is the ultimate tool for traders. And if you are not already using it today, you are in luck. I know here comes the sales pitch, but I'm serious. This is really an awesome opportunity to get access for huge discounts. We are doing 45% off if you message us using the link in the chat right now. It's also in the description, but if you click this, you'll be connected to someone on our team, which will answer any questions you have about the tool, give you some pricing options that might fit your budget, and we can get you access to the tool so that you can start using them in your trading to find better opportunities. Look at Grand. Appreciate you, Grand. Smart money tracker train. Yeah, that could be another one too, right? We got the gold train, we got the smart money tracker, people who love the COT data. Actually, can you guys let me know in the chat really quick, what's your favorite thing on the Edge Finder? I always like to ask people, because of course we pay attention to what our users, a lot of you guys have the Edge Finder. If you do have the Edge Finder or you don't, and you just watch the streams and you catch a glimpse of it here and there, what is your favorite feature that we've built? Because we always love to know about that stuff from you guys. Seasonality is another one. I personally really like seasonality. I think it's not always the most glamorous to some people, but I got to give credit to seasonality. It's what got me really intrigued with the S&P 500 because I had this data. If this is, okay, let me be so real with you guys. The S&P trade, I'm up $10,800. The reason I took this trade was a combination of COT and seasonality. I'm not going to write seasonality. You guys can imagine that it's there. I caught this trade because seasonality showed November was very, very strong historically speaking. You combine that idea with the fact that oversold, and we had a little bit of a price action breakout. You combine these things together and you have the COT data, which showed overall some nice bullishness in the S&P at this time. That was the trade. And I'm up $10,800 because of it. I'm not saying that it's like a holy grail. It's not perfect like that all the time, but because I had that data, I could make a really well-informed decision. And now I'm up $10,000 on it. Now, of course, like I said, I'm not saying you will be up $10,000 because you have your own risk management, you have your own trading strategy. I'm not here to tell you like, oh, that's what's going to happen to you. But I'm telling you that for me, genuinely, that's how I found the trade. I looked at the data, I found a setup, I did my work, but the setups were helped by the Edge Finder. This was able to help me find that opportunity. So, and this is a live account. I'm not showing you MT4 demos or anything like that. I'm up $10,000 on my own money with the help of the tools that we've built here at A1. So if that's not a testimonial, I don't know what is, because at the end of the day, I'm here to keep it real with you guys, show you real accounts, etc. Which broker are you using, Bruce? So I'm in the US, so my limitations are a little bit there in terms of brokers that I can use. The US has some regulations that are pretty strict. If you're looking for a broker, two things. If you're in the US, then let's do this. If you're outside of the US, check out ACAP. They're easily the one that we suggest. And Chandler, if you could drop the link to, actually, you know what? I don't know if you have that link. So I think the website's still down, so I can't send you to the website. It's a struggle today. Let's do this. We'll just drop the direct message center. If you're looking to join with ACAP, we have some really cool sign up perks. You can get some free stuff with us. You can get access to, I think there's some like deposit bonuses and all sorts of cool perks. ACAP supports our stream here. So I do have to say that they're our preferred broker, but I would say it even if they weren't our sponsor. They're the best. ACAP is so top tier. You can trade directly on TradingView. You can get access to the Edge Finder for free with them if you deposit $7,500 or more. They've got some really cool perks. So ask us about ACAP. Send us a direct message. Yes, thank you, Chandler, for dropping us that. Appreciate you, man. So yeah, send us a direct message. We'll get you hooked up with that. Or if you don't have that money to create an account with, then that's cool too. Just ask us about the Edge Finder sale that we're doing. It's currently 45% off to get access to our tool. James is here. I want to. He's walking around with his camera on in behind the scenes. He's shaking his head. He's nodding his head. He's dancing now. Oh, now he's what's going on out there? I'm just kidding. We could say hey to James, but he's coming in. I think he's got something for us. Okay, he needs 1 second. No worries. James has got something for us coming, guys. So stick around. We got a surprise appearance, a guest appearance. Well, not really a guest. It's like our host. James is like our host of the stream as well. So anyways, 8cap are awesome. Yeah, 8cap is great. If I was outside of the US, I would trade with 8cap. I just can't because I'm in the US and they don't accept US clients. So if you're in the US, there's some links in the description, I think, that will take you to a place. I can't remember. I use personally Webull because I trade stock ETFs to get exposure to things like the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, gold, etc. XAU USD, that's a CFD. And in the US, we can't trade CFDs on regulated brokers. I know that can be very confusing. I remember the frustration. US friends in the audience, can you guys answer something for me really quick? Were you guys like super frustrated? You may be frustrated with this right now, but for me, it's been several years since I was in this mode. The super frustration with wanting to be able to trade gold as a US client, but the only thing you can do is go trade it on super offshore sketchy brokers. Don't do that, by the way. I trade with Webull. I have a sign up link on our website that gets you 12 free shares. I trade GLD, I trade SPY, QQQ for NASDAQ. I can trade all the same things. I just do it on a stock brokerage and it's super regulated, safe. My money's not in some sketchy offshore account, right? So it's in a regulated US broker and I can trade it that way. Okay, I think James is ready for us. He's got something. I'm excited to see what he's got. All right, bring him in.
Hey, what's going on?
Not a lot. What we got?
So I've been working on the news for today, and I think I've got some pretty interesting stuff to go over today. So let's go ahead and talk about some of the stuff going on. Honestly, we got a lot of global news happening today. Some stuff that I was not aware of. But let's go ahead and hop right into it. So first off, we're going to talk about what's ahead. So tomorrow we have GDP numbers for the UK forecasted to come out at 0%, as well as the preliminary University of Michigan consumer sentiment. That is US dollar news right there. So we still have some big news events to close out the week. And because we are getting towards the end of the week, and it's important to stay on top of all of this fundamental stuff, we can take a look ahead at next week as well, where on Tuesday we have the UK. I always say this wrong. I'm going to do my best. Claimant?
It's confusing.
Claimant. I always want to
say, how the Brits say it.
I always want to say claimant. Like, I don't know. But the claimant, the UK claimant count change, as well as CPI numbers here in the US, that's coming on Tuesday. On Wednesday, the UK is getting their CPI numbers, as well as the US getting PPI numbers and retail sales. That's the normal release, as well as core numbers. Empire State Manufacturing Index, that is more US dollar news, and the Australian unemployment rate, although that will be happening much later in the day over here on the East Coast for us. So we won't be able to cover, we never get to cover any Australian news because they are so far ahead of us in the time zone. But Thursday, as always, unemployment claims, and Friday to kick off or to finish off the week, UK retail sales. So what's happening? The first thing that I found was this article on gold that I'm actually going to pull up here in just a second. I was, searching around for some forex news, and I thought this could be interesting. Could bond yields dropping prove to be bullish for gold? Now I have this article that I want to read just a little bit of before we get into some more global events. So I'm going to share this instead. So this is something that I found on forex.com here, and it was written by Fawad Razaquazada. I think I actually may have nailed that.
I could better than what I could have done.
Fawad Razaquazada, I believe is how you pronounce that. And his gold analysis here says, will the recent drop in bond yields support gold's prices, as well as some other things? But that's really what I want to focus on, because that was the real news, was the drop in bond yields to support gold prices. So I want to read just a little bit of this here for you guys. If you want to read the full article, again, it's on forex.com. And so it says precious metal bulls must be frustrated by signs of weakening prices in recent weeks, following gold's notable 7% increase in October and silver's comparatively modest 3% rise. Gold's upward trajectory last month was primarily attributed to the surge in demand for safe haven assets prompted by the escalation of the Middle East conflict, leading investors to shift away from riskier investments. Despite a surge in U.S. bond yields to their highest point since 2007, gold managed to rally. However, although bond yields have since sharply decreased at the beginning of this month, this has not yet positively impacted gold prices. Investors seem to have favored stocks and bonds over gold due to the latter's lack of dividends or interest in the associated costs of storage. Moreover, within global signs of peaking inflation and gold prices hovering close to their all-time highs, some investors have been hesitant to purchase gold at recent levels, opting to wait for a more substantial price decline before making a move. Nevertheless, with the decline in yields, potential buyers are keeping an eye out for an opportunity to make a move. So I thought that was pretty interesting. With the bonds were at their highest point since 2007, and gold is near all-time highs as well. The bonds have come back down, but perhaps since gold had such a dramatic move in October, increasing 7% because of the conflict in the Middle East, that could be why the lowering of the bond yields did not have a direct impact positively on gold, but that could still potentially happen. And it seems like a lot of investors are waiting for that gold price to dip a little bit lower before they continue that bullish move on gold, because it currently is trading so high. So that was something, again, if you want to read that full article there and dive a little bit deeper into gold, that was on forex.com. But moving on, some local U.S. news here that I am personally pretty excited about. It's finally over. After 148 days, the writers in Hollywood are returning to work. So if you are unfamiliar, writers and actors in Hollywood have been on strike for close to like half the year. It's certainly been a while. And so first writers and then actors went on strike earlier this year in order to fight for more of an equal distribution and pay around the respective industries. And SAG-AFTRA and the Hollywood studios have come to an agreement, and many projects and people are getting ready to head back to work. I've heard reports that huge projects, the one that I'm personally very excited about, like Deadpool 3 here, is going to be begin filming as early as next week. Super popular shows like Stranger Things that are filmed here in Georgia, those are also getting ready to film within the next month or so. So that is very good to see. People are going back to work, and a lot of the stuff that we love and are passionate about, like movies and television, other content, stuff like that, is starting to ramp back up into production. So that was exciting. Now, this next story is something that I was a little bit surprised to read about, that I had not heard about this earlier. But yesterday, the U.S. ordered an airstrike on a weapons storage facility in Syria that was being used by Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, the IRGC, and other affiliated groups. Now, this is a quote here from the Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin. He said, quote, "This precision self-defense strike is a response to a series of attacks against U.S. personnel in Iraq and Syria by IRGC Quads force affiliates," Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin said in a statement. He continues on, quote, "The president has no higher priority than the safety of U.S. personnel, and he directed today's action to make clear that the United States will defend itself, its personnel, and its interest. The United States is fully prepared to take further necessary measures to protect our people and our facilities," he added, and we urge against any escalation. So reading a little bit further into it, this was not the first attack. There was actually another airstrike ordered in Syria on October 26th. And reading a little bit further into it, there is lots of activity happening with the U.S. military over in the Middle East right now. So You know, a lot of the stuff happening in the Middle East is a pretty scary situation, and you really hope that none of this escalates any further. But since this was such recent news happening just yesterday, and I was a little caught off guard by it, I didn't know anything about this. I figured this might be interesting to share. And then, of course, the biggest news around the world currently, just a quick update on it if you have not been paying attention to it. Israel and Hamas discussed release of 50 hostages over a short-lived ceasefire. So Hamas was reports claim that Hamas was close to agreeing to a deal where they would release 50 Israeli hostages. And in return, Israel would stop bombing Gaza. Now, this was before the events of October 27th, when Israel sent their troops into Gaza. So the hostage release was then called off after Israel agreed to stop bombing Gaza. They then instead sent their troops into Gaza. So the release of the hostages was called off. But reading further into it, there are other articles and reports that claim that they are still discussing terms for releasing the hostages, which is a very good thing. You know, it's, again, like I said, it's a very scary and very unfortunate situation over there, and the civilians that are getting caught up in it is very tragic. So hopefully, I read that the negotiations are being monitored by Qatar, so they are kind of stepping in as the middleman between Israel and Palestine and Hamas. So they are kind of mediating these talks for the release of hostages, and apparently those talks are still happening. So that is good news, at least, that hopefully those talks are still happening and we can see some progress there. But that is all I have for today.
All right. Well, thank you, James, for that. Again, for getting the news for us, guys. If we could get some thanks, James, for that. I know, James puts some time into putting together that report for us just to keep us all in line with what's happening. It's a busy task to try and keep up with all of this stuff. So it is very helpful, I think, to a lot of you guys. And if you did appreciate that, hit the thumbs up button and type thanks, James, in the chat. And with that said, I think we're going to wrap up. We've got plans to come back later on today, guys. So we will be doing the JP speech, which is later on today. So a couple hours from now, we will resume the live stream. We got some fun stuff planned, and we'll be here for you guys to prep you for the event. So take a break, come back. We'll be back as well to do the stream. And James, thank you very much for joining me.
Yeah, of course.
All right. See you guys later. We'll call it there.
Thanks again for flying with us on the A1 Trader. Our goal at A1 Trading is to give you the latest in market news through our daily videos and articles. Take advantage of our huge Black Friday sale, 45% off, happening all month on our best products we have to offer. A1 Trader, prepare for the return home.